Do you feel it? The quiet shame that settles in after the dopamine fades, the hollow echo in your bank account after the one-click purchase, the bitter taste of regret after the angry words have already flown from your mouth. This isn't just a bad day, warrior. This is a pattern. It's the invisible chain yanking you through life, a life where you are not the master, but a slave to every fleeting impulse, every cheap thrill, every notification that screams for your attention. You are a passenger, in your own body, hijacked by a mind you were never taught how to command. Look at your battlefield. It's not a field of mud and steel. It's the glowing screen in your hand. It's the endless scroll designed by engineers to bleed your focus dry. It's the targeted ad that knows your weakness better than you do. You wake up with a plan, a warrior's resolve to build, to create, to train. But by nightfall, you're buried in a pile of your own surrenders. The workout skipped for cheap comfort, the important work ignored for mindless entertainment, the promises you made to yourself broken before the sun has even set. You are losing a war every single day, and the enemy is camped out right behind your own eyes. Listen to the voice that whispers to you in those moments of weakness. It's your inner tyrant, and it sounds deceptively like a friend. It says, "You deserve this, just this once. Freedom is doing what you want right now. Worry about it tomorrow." That is the most dangerous lie ever forged. It's the lie that turns kings into beggars. It's the siren song that has lured millions into a life of quiet desperation, a life of reacting instead of acting, a life where your potential rots in the dungeon of your own undisciplined mind. This isn't a game. The cost of this surrender is your soul. It's the mounting debt that suffocates your future. It's the relationships that fracture under the weight of your emotional outbursts. It's the graveyard of half-finished dreams and abandoned projects that haunt you. But the deepest wound is the one to your self-respect. Every time you surrender to an impulse, you prove to yourself again and again that you cannot be trusted. You are telling yourself that you are weak, that you are broken, that you are not worthy of commanding your own life. But what if I told you there is an ancient code, a warrior's operating system forged over 2,000 years ago, designed specifically to crush this inner tyrant and shatter the chains of impulse? This isn't gentle philosophy for dusty libraries. This is a set of brutal commands, a mental arsenal built for the chaos of the modern world. This is Stoicism, not as a theory, but as a weapon. It is the power to install a pause button between the world and your reaction to it, the power to become the emperor of your own mind. Before we forge the first weapon, prove your commitment. Warriors don't enter the arena half-heartedly. Prove your discipline now. Subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. This is your first act of deliberate choice against the mindless scroll. Then go to the comments and write the phrase that will be your battle cry. It can be simple: "I am not a slave," or "My will is law." This is your declaration of war. In the next few minutes, I will deliver the first of the 7 brutal commands of Marcus Aurelius, the one that will build a fortress in your mind where impulse comes to die. The forging begins now. Let's be brutally honest, warrior. This isn't a personality flaw. This is a disease. It's the plague of the untamed mind, and it is rotting you from the inside out. It starts as a whisper, the desire for a little more comfort, a little less effort. Soon, it becomes a low-grade fever of apathy. Before you know it, it has metastasized, infecting every cell of your existence. You look in the mirror and see a stranger wearing your face, a puppet whose strings are pulled by algorithms, advertisers, and the weakest parts of your own character. You are living in a compromised body, running a compromised career and building compromised relationships, all because you refuse to diagnose the sickness that is killing you. Look at your body. It was meant to be a fortress, a weapon. Instead, you've turned it into a dumpster for cheap dopamine. Every time you choose the sugar-laced poison over clean fuel, every time you surrender to the couch instead of conquering the weights, you are casting a vote for weakness. You are telling your own biology that you value 5 minutes of fleeting pleasure over 50 years of vitality. This isn't just about health, it's about command. Your body is the first territory you must govern. If you cannot even command your own flesh and blood to move when you say move and to be still when you say be still, how in the hell do you expect to command your destiny? Now look at your career. It's a battlefield littered with the corpses of your own abandoned ambitions. That project you were passionate about, it's gathering dust. That skill you were going to learn, replaced by another 100 hours of mindless scrolling. That promotion, it went to someone less talented, but more consistent. Your inner tyrant sold you the lie of later, and you bought it every single day. You trade the deep, lasting satisfaction of building an empire for the shallow, momentary hit of distraction. Your potential isn't just untapped, warrior. It's being actively suffocated by your daily surrenders. You are digging a grave for your own greatness, one lazy decision at a time. And your relationships, they are the collateral damage of your inner chaos. Every angry word you spit out without thinking, every promise you break because you didn't feel like it, every time you were physically present but mentally absent, scrolling through a feed, those are not small mistakes. They are cracks in the foundation of trust. You cannot be a rock for others if you are a puddle of shifting impulses. People can't rely on you because you can't rely on you. You become a source of anxiety, not stability. Your lack of self-control makes you a liability to the very people you swear you love. Let's talk about the chains you call your finances. Every impulsive purchase, every click on buy now, is another link forged in the shackles of debt. You are trading your future freedom for present garbage. The algorithm knows your weakness. It dangles the shiny object. Your untamed mind screams, "I want it," and you obey like a trained animal. That gnawing anxiety you feel when you look at your bank account, that is the feeling of powerlessness. That is the feeling of being a slave. You are not just buying things, you are selling your autonomy for trinkets that will be meaningless in a week. The source of this plague is your addiction to a single poisonous idea: comfort. You have been conditioned to believe that the path of least resistance is the path to happiness. That is the most destructive lie of the modern age. Comfort is not a sanctuary, it is a cage. It is a warm, stagnant swamp that softens your spine, dulls your mind, and drowns your ambition. The warrior does not run from hardship, he runs towards it. He understands that steel is only forged in the fire. Every time you choose the easy path, you are choosing to remain soft, to remain weak, to remain a victim of circumstance. But the most devastating cost of this disease is not the money, the career, or even the relationships. It is the silent, daily erosion of your self-respect. With every broken promise, every skipped workout, every impulsive surrender, you are teaching yourself one thing: I cannot be trusted. You are proving again and again that your word is meaningless, even to yourself. This is the ultimate betrayal. When the man in the mirror is a man you cannot count on, you are truly alone. You have abdicated the throne of your own mind, and you are living under the rule of a tyrant. This is the diagnosis. Now, we begin the war. To take your kingdom back. You think this weakness is new? You think it was born from the glowing screen in your pocket? You are mistaken, warrior. This disease of the soul, this slavery to impulse, is as old as humanity itself. 2,000 years ago, in the chaos of the Roman Empire, a group of warrior philosophers diagnosed this exact plague. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor; Seneca, the statesman; Epictetus, the slave who became a master of men. They were not academics scribbling in dusty libraries. They were battlefield surgeons of the mind, and they saw this weakness for what it is, the fundamental human flaw, the crack in our operating system that, left unchecked, leads to a life of ruin. They saw you, they saw your struggle, and they forged the weapons to fight it. The Stoics understood a brutal truth. The world does not attack you. Your own mind attacks you. They called the command center of your consciousness the hegemonikon, the ruling faculty. Right now, your ruling faculty is a drunken, deposed king. It has abandoned its throne. It lets any passing whim, any fleeting desire, any screaming fear seize the crown and issue commands. The impulse to buy, the urge to lash out, the craving for comfort, these are not your masters. They are peasants, fools, and traitors storming the castle, and you, the rightful ruler, are letting them. The problem is not that the impulse exists. The problem is that you have forgotten how to rule. You have forgotten that the throne is yours and yours alone. This is how the enemy breaches your walls. The Stoics called it fantasia, an impression, a raw, unfiltered piece of data. An advertisement flashes across your screen, an insult is thrown your way, a craving for sugar surfaces. These are just neutral events. They are like reports delivered by a messenger to the king. The disease, the poison, is your immediate and unthinking assent to that report. You treat the impression as truth without interrogation. The ad says, buy, and you agree. The insult says, you are worthless, and you agree. The craving says, I need this now, and you agree. You have become a machine of mindless agreement, a slave who says yes to every chain offered. This is why they spoke of the inner citadel. Your mind, warrior, was designed to be an impregnable fortress. Nothing external can harm it. No algorithm, no insult, no temptation can breach its walls unless you, the commander, give the order to lower the drawbridge. Every time you surrender to an impulse, you are committing an act of high treason. You are willingly opening the gates and inviting the barbarian horde to pillage your own kingdom. The tragedy is not that the enemy is at the gates. The enemy is always at the gates. The tragedy is that the commander has become the traitor. You are handing the keys to your own fortress over to your weakest, most cowardly impulses. You have been poisoned by the modern lie that your feelings are your guide. Follow your heart. Trust your gut. The Stoics would call this insanity. Your feelings are not a divine compass. They are a storm. They are powerful, chaotic, and utterly unreliable. They are the panicked screams of an undisciplined mob in the city square, not the reasoned counsel of a war council. A true leader does not let the mob dictate strategy. He listens, he assesses, but his decisions are forged in the cold, hard steel of reason. You have been letting the most hysterical, short-sighted, and pleasure-seeking parts of yourself pilot the ship. And now you wonder why you are sailing directly into the rocks. Do not dare to think your struggle is unique. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, woke up every single day and fought this same war, read his private journal. He wasn't wrestling with empires, he was wrestling with the impulse to stay in his warm bed, the urge to indulge in gossip, the desire for empty praise, the flash of anger at an incompetent fool. He fought the same inner tyrant that whispers to you now. This is not your private, shameful little battle. This is the human condition. This is the great war we are all born into. The difference is this. You have been fighting it unarmed and blind. The Stoics left you the battle plans. Now you have the diagnosis. The enemy is not the impulse itself, but your mindless assent to it. The battlefield is not the outside world, but the space between a stimulus and your response. For your entire life, that space has been non-existent. An event happens and you react instantly like a knee-jerking when struck by a hammer. The Stoic cure is to forge a new reality. It is to learn how to insert a wedge, a pause, a moment of pure command into that space. In that sacred pause, you reclaim your throne. In that pause, you cease to be a slave and begin to become a king. We are about to forge the first tool to create that pause. We are about to arm you with the discipline of ascent. Here it is, warrior. The first of the 7 brutal commands of Marcus Aurelius. This is not a suggestion. This is not a friendly tip. This is the law that separates the slave from the sovereign. Burn it into the forefront of your mind, for it is the foundation of your fortress. The first command is this: nothing enters the citadel unchallenged. Your mind is a fortress, the last unconquered territory in a world that wants to own you. And for your entire life, you have left the gates wide open, unguarded, allowing any barbarian, any fleeting impulse, any stray insult, any whispering fear to storm in, set up camp, and dictate terms. This law ends that treason. From this moment forward, you are the gatekeeper. Think of that microscopic space between a stimulus and your reaction. That is the gate to your kingdom. An ad flashes on your screen. That's a scout at the gate. A craving for junk food arises. That's a spy trying to slip past the walls. Someone insults you. That's a battering ram testing your defenses. For years you have had no process. The gate has been a gaping wound. The scout arrives and you immediately surrender your wallet. The spy appears and you immediately surrender your health. The battering ram strikes and you immediately surrender your peace. The first command means you post a guard at that gate, a hardened, merciless Praetorian guard who stops everything and everyone and demands to know their purpose before they take one more step into your mind. This guard does not fight the event itself. He fights the impression of the event. The Stoics called this fantasia. The ad is not the enemy. The story it tells you, this will make you happy, is the enemy. The craving is not the enemy. The lie it whispers, you need this now to feel good, is the enemy. The insult is not the enemy. The judgment it provokes, my worth is determined by this person's opinion, is the enemy. Your untamed mind is a master storyteller, and every story it tells is designed to make you weaker, more reactive, and easier to control. The gatekeeper's job is to see these stories for what they are: lies, illusions, and attempts to dethrone you. To arm this guard, you will give him a weapon: the Praetorian's interrogation. Before you assent to any strong impulse, before you let any powerful emotion take hold, you will stop. You will create that sacred pause. And in that pause, your guard will ask 3 brutal questions. 1. Is this impression based on objective fact, or is it a story my feelings are telling me? 2. Does acting on this impulse serve the warrior I am trying to become, or does it serve the slave I am trying to kill? 3. What is the real consequence of this action in 1 hour, 1 day, and 1 year? No impression gets past the gate until it has answered these 3 questions to the satisfaction of the king. Let's put this into the arena. That limited time offer for something you don't need flashes on your screen. The impulse screams, "Buy now!" The gatekeeper steps forward. Question: on fact or feeling? The feeling is urgency and desire. The fact is, this is a manufactured scarcity tactic designed by a marketing team to exploit my brain's weaknesses. Question 2: does this serve the warrior or the slave? The slave wants the cheap thrill of a new toy. The warrior wants financial freedom and the discipline to own his decisions. This action serves the slave. Question 3. The consequences? In an hour, a dopamine hit. In a day, a notification that it has shipped. In a year, it's another piece of clutter paid for with the currency of my freedom, another link in the chain of debt. The interrogation is complete. The gate remains shut. The impulse, exposed as a fraud, withers and dies outside your walls. Another test. Someone cuts you off in traffic and flips you the bird. The fire of rage ignites in your chest. The impulse is to honk, to swear, to let this poison ruin your state of mind. The gatekeeper steps forward. Question 1. Fact or feeling? The feeling is outrage, a sense of being disrespected. The fact is, a stranger in a metal box made a poor decision. His actions have no bearing on my character, my mission, or my worth. Question 2. Does this serve the warrior or the slave? The slave is baited by every peasant's provocation. The warrior remains the emperor of his own inner state, calm and undisturbed by the chaos outside the fortress. Reacting with rage serves the slave. Question 3. The consequences? In an hour, my heart rate will still be high and my focus shattered. In a day, I won't even remember this person's face, but I will remember the surrender of my tranquility. In a year, this moment is utterly meaningless unless I allow it to be another victory for my weakest self. The gate remains shut. You choose peace not because you are weak, but because you are too strong to be manipulated. This is the key, warrior. This is the turning of the lock. For the first time, you are creating a separation between you and the chaotic. Noise inside your head. Those impulses are not your commands. They are merely suggestions. They are pathetic, panicked pleas from the most primitive, cowardly part of your brain. By applying the first command, you are not just resisting them, you are asserting your rightful place as the ruler who hears their pleas and calmly denies them. You are the emperor on the throne, not the screaming peasant in the mob. Every time you successfully interrogate an impulse, you are laying another stone in the wall of your inner citadel. You are proving to yourself that you are not a slave to the storm. You are the one who commands the winds. Enough theory. The forge is lit, and it is time to hammer the hot steel of your will into a weapon. The Praetorian's interrogation is not a mental trick to be admired in the quiet of your study. It is a blade to be wielded in the blood and mud of your daily life, in the war against your own weakness. We will not speak of what might be. We will do what must be done. Right now, we will take the battlefield of your day, from the moment you wake to the moment you sleep, and we will install the gatekeeper at every critical post. This is not a rehearsal, warrior. This is the first day of your reign. The first battle is won or lost in the first 5 seconds of your day. The alarm screams. Your body is warm. The bed is a sanctuary of comfort. The inner tyrant, that master of sedition, whispers its poison into your ear. Just 5 more minutes. You deserve it. The world can wait. This is the first barbarian at the gate. The old you surrendered without a fight. The new you deploys the guard. Question 1. Fact or feeling? The feeling is a powerful craving for comfort. The fact is, my mission for the day requires me to rise now. The feeling is a lie. Question 2. Warrior or slave? The slave seeks comfort. The warrior seeks discipline. Staying in this bed feeds the slave. Question 3. The consequences. In an hour, I will be rushed, anxious, and starting my day from a position of defeat. In a day, this small surrender will make the next one easier. In a year, a habit of weakness will be cemented. The interrogation is over. Your feet hit the floor before the tyrant can whisper another lie. You have won the first engagement. Now you are in the world. The mid-afternoon slump hits. Your brain, a junkie looking for its next fix, screams for sugar, for the cheap, greasy comfort of poison. The craving feels like a physical law, an undeniable truth. It is not. It is an impression. The gatekeeper steps forward. Question 1. Fact or feeling? The feeling is an intense, gnawing need. The fact is, my body requires fuel, not poison. This is a chemical craving, not true hunger. Question 2. Warrior or slave? The slave obeys every pang and craving, turning his body into a dumpster. The warrior builds his body into a fortress, fueling it with intention. This choice serves the slave. Question 3. The consequences. In an hour, a sugar. crash and regret. In a day, another blow to my energy and discipline. In a year, a body that is a liability, not a weapon. The verdict is clear. You drink the water, you eat the clean protein, you walk away, feeling not the pain of deprivation, but the immense power of command. The battle shifts to the mind. An email arrives with a passive-aggressive tone. A comment on your social media drips with contempt. A driver cuts you off. The hot flash of anger floods your chest. The impulse is to retaliate, to type the scathing reply, to unleash the fury. The gatekeeper stands firm. Question 1. Fact or feeling? The feeling is outrage, the sting of disrespect. The fact is, another person's poor character is their problem, not mine. Their words are vibrations in the air. Their pixels are meaningless unless I give them meaning. Question 2. Warrior or slave? The slave is a puppet whose strings are pulled by any fool with an opinion. The warrior's inner peace is a fortress, and he does not grant outsiders the power to disturb it. Reacting with rage is the ultimate act of slavery. Question 3. The consequences. In an hour, a state of agitation, my focus shattered. In a day, the memory of my own loss of control. In a year, this moment is nothing, but the habit of letting others control my emotions is a life sentence of misery. You delete the draft, you breathe. You refuse to let a peasant occupy the throne room of your mind. You face the great enemy, the difficult task, the project you've been avoiding, the conversation you dread, the workout that promises pain. The impulse is overwhelming. Flee, escape into distraction, into the endless scroll, into anything but this discomfort. The gatekeeper draws his sword. Question 1. Fact or feeling? The feeling is dread. Fear of the effort. The fact is, this task is necessary for my growth and the fulfillment of my mission. The discomfort is temporary. The cost of avoidance is permanent. Question 2. Warrior or slave? The slave runs from hardship and lives in a prison of mediocrity. The warrior runs towards the fire, for he knows it is the only thing that forges steel. Question 3. The consequences. In an hour of focused work, progress. In a day, pride. In a year, a monument to my discipline. The consequence of avoidance, a deeper pit of shame, and a task that has only grown more monstrous in the dark. You turn off the phone. You open the document. You pick up the weight. You charge the enemy head-on. Do you see it now, warrior? Do you feel the ground shifting beneath your feet? This is the earth-shattering revelation that turns a slave into a king. Your impulses are not commands. They are suggestions. They are pathetic, desperate pieces of spam mail sent from the most primitive, fearful, and lazy part of your brain. For your entire life, you have treated every piece of this junk mail as a royal decree. You have been taking orders from a fool. The Praetorian's interrogation is your spam filter. It allows you, the emperor, to sit on your throne, to observe the pathetic plea of the impulse, to see it for the fraud it is, and to calmly, deliberately, and mercilessly delete it. This is the birth of true freedom. It is not the chaotic freedom to do whatever you feel like. That is the very definition of slavery. True freedom is the unshakable, internal power to choose your response. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that nothing, no craving, no insult, no fear, no algorithm can make you do anything. The storm of feelings can still rage. The world can still throw its chaos at your walls. But for the first time, you understand that the storm is outside the fortress. You are inside, at the command post, calm and in control. You are no longer reacting to the weather. You are the one who decides when to open the gates. Do you feel that? The silence. It is not the empty silence of apathy, but the profound, resonant silence of command. Before, your mind was a chaotic marketplace, 1,000 screaming merchants of impulse hawking their cheap wares of comfort and distraction. Now, there is order. There is a throne. The inner tyrant still whispers from his cage, but his voice is a pathetic, reedy thing, easily ignored. The constant low-grade hum of anxiety, the fear of your own next mistake, the shame of your last surrender has been replaced by the quiet, unshakable confidence of the emperor who knows his fortress is secure. This is not peace as the world defines it, a fleeting absence of trouble. This is the peace of the warrior, a peace forged in the fire of self-discipline, a peace that exists because of the battle, not in its absence. You are no longer at war with yourself. The civil war is over. The rightful king has returned. Look at your body. It is no longer a burden you drag through life, a source of shame and weakness. It has become what it was always meant to be, the physical manifestation of your will, the slave you were fed it, poisoned to quiet his feelings. The warrior you have become fuels it for the mission. Every clean meal is a strategic victory. Every grueling workout is an act of defiance against the gravity of comfort. You feel the cold steel of the barbell and recognize it as an ally, a tool for forging not just muscle but character. You are no longer a passenger in your own flesh, a victim of its cravings. You are the commander. When you say, move, it moves. When you say, endure, it endures. You are building a body that is not just healthier, but harder to kill, a true fortress for your unconquerable mind. Your finances are no longer the chains that bind you, but the resources that arm you. The old you was a consumer, a mindless drone whose wallet was a puppet controlled by the strings of an algorithm. You saw a targeted ad and called it desire. Now you see it for what it is, a pathetic attempt to breach your walls. The Praetorian's interrogation has made you immune to its cheap tricks. You see the limited time offer and laugh at its manufactured urgency. Every dollar you now save, every debt you now pay down, is not just a financial transaction. It is a monument to a defeated impulse. It is a declaration of your sovereignty. You are no longer trading your future freedom for present garbage. You are building an arsenal of autonomy, one deliberate decision at a time. Observe your relationships. They are no longer the collateral damage of your inner chaos. The slave you were was a storm, unpredictable and destructive, lashing out with impulsive anger and retreating into distracted apathy. You were a source of anxiety for the people you claimed to love. The warrior you have become is a rock. The sacred pause you have installed between stimulus and response has transformed you. In the heat of a disagreement, you no longer react. You respond. You listen. You choose your words with the precision of a master craftsman. You are no longer a liability but a leader. People feel your calm. They sense your discipline. They begin to trust you, not because of what you say, but because you have finally become a man who can be trusted by the one person who matters most, yourself. Your ambition is no longer a ghost that haunts you. The graveyard of your half-finished projects is being consecrated into a field of monuments. Before, the slightest friction, the first taste of difficulty, was enough to send you fleeing into the warm embrace of distraction. You were a master of starting and a coward at finishing. Now you understand the brutal, beautiful truth. The obstacle is the way. You seek the difficult task. You hunt for the challenge. The deep, soul-satisfying pride of completing what you started has become 100 times more potent than the shallow dopamine hit of a notification. You are no longer just dreaming of an empire. You are laying the bricks. You are an architect, building a legacy of discipline, one completed task at a time. The world has not changed, warrior. The digital Colosseum still screams for your attention. The culture of immediacy still peddles its poison of instant gratification. The sirens of comfort still sing their deadly song. What has changed is you. You see the matrix. You look upon the frantic, impulse-driven masses not with judgment, but with a cold, clear pity. You see them chasing fleeting pleasures, shackling themselves with debt and trading their potential for trinkets, and you recognize the ghost of the slave you once were. The world is no longer a minefield of temptations to be feared. It has become your training ground, your arena. Every ad, every provocation, every call to comfort is now just another opportunity to sharpen your blade, to strengthen your walls, to prove your command. This is the inevitable outcome of the forge. This is the new identity you have hammered into existence. You spent your life chasing a lie, the false freedom of doing anything you felt like doing. You believed that slavery to your every whim was liberation. Now you have seized the only freedom that matters. You have discovered the ultimate power, the power that separates the emperor from the slave. The freedom to not do what the weakest part of you screams for. The freedom to say no. You are no longer a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the storms of your own mind. You are the captain on the bridge, your hand steady on the wheel, navigating the chaos of the world with a calm and terrible purpose. The forging is not over. It is never over, but the slave is dead. The warrior is born. You have tasted victory. You have felt the immense power of denying an impulse, of standing as the gatekeeper of your own mind. But a single victory does not win a war, warrior. A fortress left unguarded will inevitably fall. Discipline is not an event. It is a daily, grinding, glorious practice. It is the conscious decision, made every single morning, to sharpen your sword, to check your armor, and to study. The battlefield before the first arrow flies. The slave hopes for an easy day. The warrior prepares for a difficult one. We will now forge the ritual that will ensure you are always prepared. This is not a gentle morning meditation. This is your pre-battle briefing. We call this ritual the 5-minute forging. It will take you precisely 300 seconds. It requires no special equipment, no quiet room, no incense. It requires only your will and a weapon, a pen and a piece of paper. You will. We call this your war log. This ritual is to be performed every morning without fail before you allow the world to infect your mind. Before the phone, before the news, before the emails. In the sacred silence of the dawn, you will meet with your own mind and you will issue its marching orders. You will seize command of the day before the day has a chance to seize command of you. This is the difference between an emperor and a subject. The first step, identify today's gates. Look at the day ahead. Be a ruthless intelligence officer gathering intel on your own weakness. Where are the likely points of attack? Is it the 10 a.m. meeting with the person who infuriates you? Is it the mid-afternoon energy crash when the craving for sugar will scream for a fix? Is it the difficult, soul-crushing project you've been avoiding? Be brutally honest. Identify the top 3 potential ambushes where your inner tyrant is most likely to strike. Write them down in your war log. Name them. Make them real. Gate 1. Procrastination on the report. Gate 2. The temptation of the vending machine at 3 p.m. Gate 3. My reaction to my family when I get home tired. You cannot defend a fortress if you do not know where its weakest walls are. The second step, set the ambush. For each of the 3 gates you identified, you will now preemptively deploy the Praetorian's interrogation. You will run the drill before the battle even begins. For Gate 1, procrastination, you will write feeling, dread, fact. This must be done. Warrior attacks the task. Slave flees to distraction, consequence of surrender, shame tonight, a bigger problem tomorrow. For Gate 2, the vending machine, you will write feeling, craving, fact. My body needs fuel, not poison. Warrior fuels the mission. Slave obeys the craving, consequence of surrender, a sugar crash, a broken promise, a weaker body. You are loading your weapons before you hear the sound of enemy horns. You are preparing your counterattack for a battle you know is coming. The third step, forge your battle standard. After you have mapped the battlefield and set your ambushes, you will write one single sentence at the top of the page. This is your command for the day. It is your personal, unshakable law. It must be simple, powerful, and absolute. Today, discomfort is my ally. My will is the only authority I recognize. No decision will be made on impulse. This is not an affirmation. It is not a hopeful wish. It is the order you are giving, and to yourself, the commander. It is the standard you will look to when the chaos of battle clouds your judgment. It is the immutable truth around which your entire day will orbit. Do not mistake this for a journaling exercise, warrior. This is the forging of your will. This is the act of imposing order on chaos before you step onto the battlefield. Theory is dust. Action is everything. Your first order is this. When this is over, find a piece of paper and a pen. Place them by your bed or wherever. You will see them the moment you wake. This is your first physical act of commitment to the war. You will begin the 5-minute forging tomorrow morning. The slave you were stumbled into his days, reacting to whatever the world threw at him. The warrior you are becoming begins each day by declaring his sovereignty. The war is won in these small daily acts of deliberate, disciplined command. The war is not over, warrior. It is never over. But today you have been armed. You have been shown the battlefield, the sacred space between a stimulus and your response. You have been given the first brutal command. Nothing enters the citadel unchallenged. You have been handed the weapon to enforce this law, the Praetorian's interrogation. You have been given the daily ritual to keep your blade sharp, the 5-minute forging. The slave you were stumbled through life, a victim of every passing whim. The warrior you have become stands guard at the gate of his own mind, the sole authority on what is allowed to enter. Do not forget this. This is not philosophy. This is your new reality. You spent your life chasing a lie, the chaotic, childish freedom to do whatever you felt like doing. You have now seized the only freedom that matters. You have discovered the ultimate power, the power that separates the emperor from the slave, the freedom to not do what the weakest part of you screams for, the freedom to say no to the tyrant in your own head. This is your birthright, reclaimed through the fire of discipline. The world will not stop testing you. The algorithms will not stop baiting you. The sirens of comfort will not stop singing. Let them try. Your fortress is now secure. The king is on the throne. Do not dare to let this fire die down into cold ash. Discipline is not a feeling, it is a daily, grinding, glorious commitment. The 5-minute forging is not optional. It is the act of sharpening your sword before the sun rises. It is your daily war council with yourself, where you map the enemy's movements and set your ambushes. To skip this ritual is to walk onto the battlefield unarmed and blind, begging to be made a slave once more. The warrior who fails to prepare is a warrior who has already chosen to be defeated. Your discipline must be as reliable as the rising of the sun. Remember this when the battle gets loud. Remember this when the old weakness whispers to you in the dark. Burn this decree into the core of your being. Let it be the last thing you hear at night, and the first order you give in the morning. This is the law of your new empire. This is the truth that shatters every chain. Your decree is this: my feelings are not orders. My impulses are not my masters. My will is the only law. Repeat it, know it, live it. You are the emperor now. Act like it. If this battle has forged something new within you, then prove it. Go to the comments now and write the phrase that will command your next 24 hours. This is your public oath. Share this call. To arms with another warrior who is lost in the fog of impulse and needs to awaken. Subscribe to this channel to continue forging your mind into an unbreakable weapon. Discipline is daily. We will see you in the arena.